London, 1888. A thick yellow fog hangs low over the streets of Whitechapel. The gas lamps glow dimly through the mist, and the cobblestones glisten with damp. The air smells of coal smoke, sewage, and fear. It was here, in the darkest corners of Victorian London, that an unseen figure began his reign of terror. A man whose name would echo through history. A name whispered in horror: Jack the Ripper. For 3 long months, the people of London lived in fear. Women refused to walk alone. Men avoided the alleys after nightfall. And yet, the killer seemed to move unseen, always one step ahead, always ready to strike again. The story begins on August 31st, 1888. In the early hours of the morning, a carman named Charles Cross stumbled upon something lying on the ground in Buck's Row. At first, he thought it was a bundle of rags. But as he drew closer, he saw the truth: the body of Mary Ann Nichols. Her throat had been slashed twice, and her abdomen viciously mutilated. The brutality shocked even the seasoned police officers of the East End. Just 1 week later, on September 8th, another woman was found dead. Her name was Annie Chapman. She had been murdered in a backyard on Hanbury Street. Her body even more savagely mutilated. The killer had taken parts of her body as a souvenir. The police began to realize this was no ordinary murderer. Someone was hunting women, and doing it with chilling precision. By late September, panic had spread across London. Newspapers sold out every morning. Each headline screamed of the Whitechapel murders. The public began to demand answers. On September 30th, the killer struck twice. In a single night, 2 victims within an hour. Elizabeth Stride was discovered first in Dutfield's yard. Her throat was cut, but the mutilations seen in earlier killings were missing. Police believed the Ripper had been interrupted. Moments later, another body was found, Catherine Eddowes, in Mitre Square. Her injuries were horrific. A piece of her apron was later found smeared with blood near a doorway in Golston Street. Scrawled on the wall above it was a message: "The jurors are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." No one knows who wrote it, the Ripper or a bystander, but it only added fuel to the hysteria. Police Commissioner Charles Warren ordered the message erased before dawn, fearing it would ignite anti-Semitic riots. Then came the letters. The Central News Agency received one signed Jack the Ripper. It read, "I am down on whores, and I shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled." It was followed by another letter and a small box containing half a human kidney. The writer claimed it came from Catherine Eddowes. He signed it, "Catch me when you can." Were the letters genuine, or the work of cruel pranksters looking to stir fear and sell papers? No one could say for sure, but the name Jack the Ripper was now etched into legend. Weeks passed, and London held its breath. The police patrolled the streets in pairs. Detectives posed as potential victims, and ordinary men carried clubs for protection. But the killer was silent. Then, on November 9th, 1888, he struck again. This time inside a small room on Miller's Court. The victim was Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest and perhaps most tragic of them all. When police broke down her door, they found a scene so horrifying that many officers never forgot it. Her body had been mutilated beyond recognition. The walls were splattered with blood. It was the Ripper's final and most brutal act. After that night, the killing stopped. The fog returned to Whitechapel, and with it came silence. Months passed, then years. The police files grew thicker. Hundreds of people were questioned. Dozens were arrested. And still, the Ripper's face remained hidden. The suspects were many. Montague John Drip, a barrister found drowned in the River Thames just weeks after the last murder. Some believe he took his own life after realizing the horror of what he'd done. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber with a deep hatred of women and a violent past. He was later committed to an asylum. Modern DNA analysis of Shaw allegedly linked to one of the victims once suggested his involvement, but the evidence remains inconclusive. Others claimed it was Prince Albert Victor, grandson of Queen Victoria, part of a royal cover-up. Still more pointed fingers at artists, doctors, and even members of Scotland Yard. And then there were the conspiracy theorists, those who believed Jack the Ripper was not one man, but many, a team of killers working together. perhaps even protected by powerful people. More than a century later, every few years a new theory surfaces, and every time it fades, leaving only questions. Who was Jack the Ripper? A surgeon with skilled hands? A lunatic driven by hatred? Or a man hiding in plain sight, blending into the crowd of the East End? One thing is certain. Whoever he was, he changed the world forever. Before the Ripper, serial murder was not understood. There was no criminal profiling, no forensic science, no public awareness of what such evil could look like. His crimes sparked fear, but they also birthed modern detective work, forensic photography, criminal databases, and public appeals for witnesses. All were shaped by the hunt for the Ripper. And yet, after all this time, the mystery remains. No photographs, no fingerprints, no confession. Only speculation, myth, and the stories of the dead. But perhaps that is why the legend endures. The Ripper's true face has been lost to history, replaced by an idea, a symbol of human darkness. He is the faceless killer in the fog, the shadow in every unsolved case, the whisper of footsteps that never stop. To walk the streets of Whitechapel today is to walk among ghosts. Modern tourists visit the same alleys where the victims once lived. Some say on quiet nights. You can still hear the faint echo of footsteps in the cobblestones and the hiss of a match as a figure lights his pipe in the mist. Then the sound fades. The street grows silent again. More than 130 years later, we still don't know his name, but his story continues to haunt us. Because in every city, in every age, there is still that question, what kind of person can do such things and vanish without a trace? Jack the Ripper killed only a few, but he terrified millions. And his mystery, the mystery of who he was, may never be solved. Perhaps that's how he wanted it, to remain forever in the fog. A ghost, a myth, and a warning.